Hi guys. I'm going to start in the meantime and we'll slowly but surely just let people in. Firstly, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're glad you could take the time just to come and find out more about our summer camp program. So while people are still joining, I just wanting to play you guys a video what the camp is all about. Madeline, Christopher, can you guys hear the sound?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. 100. Um, so let's start. So who is OVC? Firstly, we're the largest and oldest travel organization in South Africa and Namibia. We're actually celebrating our 75th birthday this year. And we're represented by with 15 different offices all around South Africa and got a variety of different programs. So tonight we are specifically chatting about the summer camp program. So the team, the program manager, Robin, wasn't able to make it tonight. So I'm standing in. I'm the franchise owner for the Durban North Coast area. But so these are all the owners. And then we've got our marketing and sales consultants as well. So you've probably been in contact with one of them. Please do us a favor and write in the chat box just your name and area that you're based in so we can just send through the information to the team to let them know that you've joined this evening and hopefully ready after this presentation to join the summer camp program. So I've got tonight with me Christopher Williams. He's been a camper of mine did the summer camp program for 6 years, and he's here this evening just to share his experience and how, yeah, great he and the love for this program. So thank you, Christopher, for joining us and, yeah, being here this evening.
Of course. Thank you for having me here.
Cool. So for the summer camps, placements is in America. We've got placements all around. There is camps in every different state that you can think of. We always advise choose the camp that you really feel that would fit your personality rather than choosing a camp in a specific destination. You do have a travel period after camp that 30 days that you can use to go and travel anywhere in America. So very important to choose the camp, yeah, according to your skills. And we'll chat about that in a minute. So, what is the requirements to be able to do the summer camp program? So you do need to be between the ages of 18 to 26. You must arrive at camp before your 27th birthday. Valid South African passport holders or Namibia, good overall health. If there is any health conditions that you do have, please chat to your OVC consultant so we can just clear it and see if it will be an issue or not. You do need a clear criminal record. Also, skills, great skills. That is what we look at when it comes to the summer camp program. And on your application, you need to select 3 to 4 skills that you're wanting to highlight, and that is what camps will look at when they interview you. So, and a great team player, and willing to have fun and go and enjoy the summer holidays. So, what we're going to chat to is about the day in the life of a camp counselor. And I'm going to let Christopher tell you guys a little bit more about what his day was like so you guys can get a good idea of, what it is all about.
Hello. As Mariska, oh, there we go. Sorry. Um, as Mariska was mentioning earlier, I've been doing summer camps. This year was my sixth time going over to American summer camps. I've done 3 summers at a camp in Maine, and done 3 summers at a camp in Tennessee. Um, a day in the life of camp. Ironically, both the camps I've been to had a very, very similar structure of camp. Um, like scheduling, but um, I'm gonna go with my most recent one because that's in my memory a lot better. But we would wake up with the kids. I was with the younger kids, so 12 and younger. So we would wake them up at 6:45. And then they would hop in the showers, like from the youngest to oldest, they would start showering because we had our showers separately from our cabins in like an ablution block. They would start showering from like 7:15. After that, we would have a what we would call morning meeting. We would go to like an amphitheater, and then there would be a leadership member or an older camper or just a regular counselor that does like a meeting of the day. It's like a quick short story slash talk to get them hyped for the day, to get them something motivational, something positive, just to get the mood for the day. After that, we'd have a head over to Flag. A lot of camps that I've heard of and worked with does this thing called flag, where in the morning they would raise the American flag, and in the evening they would lower the American flag and take it off. Um, they're very patriotic. It's a very patriotic country. So some camps, like the one camp I worked at, we did the Pledge of Allegiance, and the other camp we did not. But then after that, we would go to breakfast. After breakfast at the camp I was at in Maine, we would have like a chore time with our cabin. So we would take our cabin and we would do like some form of chore around the camp. Maybe it was sweeping a certain area, maybe it was emptying out the trash cans, whatever it would be. And then once we were done with that chore, we were free until first period. We would have 2 activity periods, each 1 hour long, after that time. And then that would take us all the way up until lunchtime. And then lunchtime was about an hour or so. And then after lunch, we would have rest time. Both camps I've worked at had a rest time after lunch, which was a lot of people's favorite part of the day. You'll go back to your cabin and you would either nap, or if you had like the younger kids that weren't really good at napping, you would play like a quiet game of Uno or whatever you want to do with them. Um, But a lot of camps do have like a mandatory rest period after lunchtime just to help recuperate your energy, and it's really hot outside. Then after rest time, we would have another two activities, followed by a snack time where they would give you some form of a snack. Maybe it's a fruit, maybe it's a bag of chips, maybe it's chocolate chip cookies, whatever it might be. And then we would go into like an hour of free time. So free time is like a less structured activity period. There would be like a bunch of randomized activities available from like fishing to creature catching to hiking to drawing, friendship bracelets, whatever it would be. Um, and the kids could like roam around for an hour and choose what they wanted to do. And then that would take you up to dinner. And then dinner was also about an hour. And then after dinner, we would have a nighttime activity every single night. Sometimes it's a lip sync battle, sometimes it's a shaving cream war, sometimes it's hide and seek, like a camp-wide hide and seek with all the campers and counselors. It's so much fun, campfires, all that kind of stuff. And then we would go back to the cabin, and then depending on your age group, we would either get them to bed pretty soon, or they would have showers first and then play games and then have like a chat before bedtime. And then it repeats over and over again every day until the end of the session. The sessions either are a week long, traditionally 2 weeks long, or some camps do the like one session per summer, so they would be there the whole time for like 7 to 9, maybe even 10 weeks straight with the same group of campers. It just depends on the camp. But I hope that helps out.
Yes. So, like you guys can see, it is a lot of busy days. You do have a free day here and there, but during your 9 to 11 weeks while you're at camp, you are going to be busy every day working. Um, you usually have orientation when you arrive. So when you arrive at camp, you'll count the kids, sorry, your campers won't be there. So you'll have orientation and then the kids will arrive. There's different type of camps. So you have your day camps, your camps where the kids rotate every week, or you would have a set of kids there for the whole 10 weeks while you're at camp. So it's all different. And when you interview with camps, they will explain to you what type of camp they are. And then the dates that you need to be available is from the 1st of May to the 15th of June until 9 to 11 weeks after that. And then, like I've mentioned, you've got that 30 days after camp that you can travel if you want, or you can come back to South Africa with the stipend that you've earned. The ages at of the kids that you'll be taking care of could range for any age from 5 to 17 years old. And then Camp America recruits, or our partners recruit from all over the world. And you'll have South Africans, people from the UK, you name it. You'll have fellow camp counselors from all over. Cool. And then chatting about, like I've mentioned, sorry, I just need to go to my next slide. I've mentioned the traditional overnights or the day camps, but also there is your faith-based camps and your special needs camps, your single gender, your Girl Scouts, your Boy Scouts, and then your underprivileged camps as well. So your application would be open generally to the private camps. And then on your application, you can choose if you are wanting to do a faith-based camp, a religious camp, or would you be open to special needs camps? So anybody can apply for special needs camps. You don't need to necessarily have experience, but just know obviously at the type of camp what your duties will require, and your OVC consultant can chat to you about that in a bit more when you do your interview before your application is submitted. And then underprivileged camps, Christopher was actually at YMCA camps on both times, and they are an underprivileged camps, and like I said, he absolutely loved it. And just your experience, having that experience with uh, kids coming from an underprivileged background is quite, yeah, quite humbling, and and just making the experience fun for the kids as well. Cool. Then, your skills. So Christopher, do you want to tell us a little bit what was the different activities that you guys had at your camp?
Yes, sure. So again, I'm going to be talking about the camp I was just recently at because of my memory. So the camp I was just recently at, they had four different main program areas, as they would call them. It was waterfront, arts and crafts, outdoor living skills, and sports. In the beginning of the summer, during your interviews, they will ask you what skill sets you have so that they can kind of like sift you to one of those four program areas. And some people would do like two of those program areas. So the ones I did for the majority of the summers at this one was the outdoor living skills as well as the arts and crafts. Um, there are unimaginable amount of activities that there are at this camp. There's everything you can possibly think of. Um, the ones that I mostly did with, for example, with outdoor living skills, we would do shelter building in the woods. We would practice making campfires. We had an island on our lake, so we had this activity called island hoppers, where we would like go to the different islands on the lake and like explore what we had on the islands. We had creature catching, we had fishing, we had raft building. That was a lot of the outdoor living skills activities. And then for arts and crafts, quite literally, you can that's got the paint. We had shaying, we had pottery, we had maybe crafting. I didn't do jewelry making, but like the beginners kind of class with jewelry making. So we would make like this red beaded bracelet, like really basic beaded bracelets and necklaces and stuff. And then I'll do mad science, which is like a science experiment kind of activities with like slime and making explosions and all that kind of stuff. The other activity program areas were waterfront, which is anything that's got to do with water. So that could be water skiing, that could be swim lessons, that could be just one we called Lake Antics, which is just a bunch of games that we played, like Marco Polo and water polo and all these kind of games that we played in the lake just to have fun and get wet and cool down. Um, and all the sports you can possibly think of. We had specifically international sports in my camp as well because they were big on trying to teach kids sports that they don't get in America, like rugby, touch rugby, cricket. They're not really popular sports in America, so they wanted to bring those kind of ideas to the camp. So pretty much any form of somewhat skill slash passion you have in a form of activity can be made into an activity, or probably even already exist at a camp because they really spread out their diversity with all the activities that they have. So obviously, like I'm not a sporty person, so when I first got into this, I was worried because I was like, oh no, I need to be able to teach soccer or something like that. But um, they find what I was good at while I was at camp, and they grew those skill sets more and more. And like for example, now I'm a qualified archery instructor because I learned how to do archery. So like I know how to teach archery professionally now, which is a really cool little tip. Not tip, a cool skill that I learned while I was working at camp.
Oh, thank you. So any type of skill that you have, there is a camp that will have that skill there. So if, for example, you a tennis instructor here in South Africa, or you do horseback riding, there's two type of counselors. So you can be a general camp counselor, like Christopher was, doing all the different skills, or doing one or two skills, and as well, generally starting as a general counselor. As you are returning back, they might select you for a specific skill. But if you are first time applicant starting your camp journey, you'll be a general camp counselor. Or if you've got, like I mentioned, a specific skill, like you are a tennis instructor here in South Africa, your camp can ask you to do that one specific skill at camp. So then you're a specialist counselor. So you can either be a specialist or general camp counselor when you do the camp season. Cool. And then what is in it for you? So all of the camps are screened through our partners, and we've got over 1,000 camps. Um, like Christopher mentioned, the water sports that is quite a very popular skill to have. There's some sort of lake, a dam, a pool. It's summer, it gets hot there, so there's that type of water activities at camp. So being able to swim is quite important and great on your application to have. But yeah, screened camps all over America. You do get a completion stipend at the end of camp. So depending on ages as well as the type of camps that you're wanting to go through, you also get 24/7 support while you are there. Your camp directors are there. If there is any emergency at camp, you do have medical staff or nurse that is at camp that can assist you as well. But you do get medical insurance part of your program. So if anything medically happens to you while you are that side, it is covered. Yeah, so medical insurance is provided. And then you do get 30 days to travel after your camp program has ended. Meals, accommodation is provided while you at camp. And then we assist also with your visa, making sure that the process goes quite easy, making sure you've got the documents, helping with booking of your appointment. So yeah, so that is included and a lot of fun as well. Then just chatting about the accommodation at camp. Christopher, do you want to, yeah, just kind of mention what was your type of accommodation you had?
Yes, of course. So for this one, I like to talk about both camps because they were kind of different. So I would like to paint a picture for just in case you have something different. My most recent camp in Maine, we had relatively small-ish log cabins. When I say small, like it had except 10 kids, well, 10 people. We would have two counselors and eight campers on average per cabin. And they were just like wooden like cabins, like normal like wooden log cabins with screen doors to protect the bugs and all that kind of stuff. But we did not have bathrooms or toilets attached to the cabins for this camp. We had an ablution block kind of idea. It was not that far from the cabin. It was a 30-second walk, 1 minute walk. It was literally right there. But at this camp, we had separate ablution blocks, which had the toilets, showers, basins, all that kind of stuff, separated from the cabin. My old camp, which was also YMCA camp, that camp was in Tennessee. That camp's cabins were quite a lot bigger. They slept about 22 people, so they were more than double the size. They had air conditioning in it. They had carpeted floors. They had vacuum cleaners. Like it was a lot like more advanced, if you want to call it. And they also had their own private bathrooms in the cabin. So they had three showers, three bathrooms, and well, three toilets and three sinks in every single cabin. Um, the most of the time that I've always heard of, the cabins are separated with gender and age. So like at my camp in Maine, we had two villages as we called it. The one village was the young boys village, 12 and younger. And they had about 8 or 9 cabins within that village, each seating about 8 kids. And then they also had the senior boys cabins a little bit further down. And then on the other side of camp, we had all the girls' cabins. A lot of camps like to separate the cabin ages per age groups. Traditionally, most camps start from like 7 years old and goes up to about 15 or 16 years old. But then both camps that I've ever heard of, they have the girls on one side of camp and the boys on the other side of camp. I hope this helps.
Yes. So yeah, so you guys need to be aware. It is quite rustic. It is your wooden type of camps. Some might have air conditioning, some might not have air conditioning. And yeah, have the bug spray ready packed as well. So it is quite an experience. And just know that this is accommodation that you are guys are looking at. And depending obviously on your camp, the facilities can be quite great, or it might be, yeah, a bit more rustic. Cool. Then application process. So applications are open now from July already until January. Applications is closing in February for the 2026 season. So if you are wanting to do the camp season, get your applications in now. We already have a hiring fair next week already for any applicants that have signed up and have their applications ready. So get your application started with your OVC consultant. Get your interview booked if that's not done yet. You will, after your interview with OVC is done, you'll then go into the interviewing process with the different camps. You get hired, we do your visa, and then you depart from between May and June. So yeah, application process is quite easy, and your OVC consultant will help you with your application, as well as the visa as well. Costs involved to be able to do the program. Um, so you're looking at approximately 30 to 40,000 that you need. So your application fee is 4,950. Your program fee varies per partner. Your visa fee is $185. That's paid to the US consulate. Medical insurance is included. Your flights can be anything between 15 to 30,000. And then one of our partners, we do have Camp America, we do have a flight option where they can pay a portion. And then your program fee, that includes your flights. And then they deduct an X amount of your salary. But speak to your OVC consultant if you do wanting to hear about the Camp America flight fee. And then your spending money just before you leave that you need. And this is obviously to cover any expenses, traveling expenses, anything urgent while you are that side if you need. If you have an off day and you're wanting to go in town and Walmart and go and buy anything that you want, toiletries if you run out. But yeah, spending money, obviously depending on your spending habits, but we recommend about $500. So yeah, cost of the program 30 to 40, and then keep in mind you do earn a stipend at the end of camp, and depending obviously on which packages you took, flight options, you are able to make back or make back the money that you had to pay for camp. Camp is not a money-making program. It is a cultural exchange program for you to go and have an amazing summer that side. And Christopher would not have returned 6 times if it wasn't a great experience. And we have a lot of our campers returning year after year. So yeah, a lot of fun. It's not necessarily a money-making program, but just the experience, the friends that you make abroad, and yeah, just the skills that you learn as well. Building your resume, you do earn that or get that international work experience on your resume. So it's a great opportunity. Thank you so much, guys. We are done with the presentation. What we'll do is open the floor for some Q&As. If you have some questions for Christopher, do go and follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Our website is ovc.co.za. You'll get all of our officers' contact details on there. So if you're not sure, who's the closest office to you. You can find the contact details on there or any further information of our programs. But yeah, we'll get our OVC team to reach out to you guys. So yeah, thank you so much. And then yeah, if you want, you can unmute and ask your questions.
Hi,
Hi there. How are you?
I'm calling yourself.
Good, thank you.
So my name is Graham Moyo.
Yes.
I wanted to ask, I from the beginning of the meeting, you had mentioned that you need a South African passport.
Yes. Or
So,
Namibia. Yeah.
so I'm asking if, like, is it possible to use any other passports, or it's just mandatorily a South African passport?
So unfortunately for this year, this season, it is only South African passport holders, just because of the travel bans currently on a lot of countries with the USA and visas. It's literally just because of the visas and the bans and stuff that we're only accepting South African passport holders for this season.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. But yeah, chat to your OVC consultant. Maybe there's a different program that we could look at for you.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. All good, Graham. Okay, any other questions, guys?
Um, I just want to pop in here and just quickly say this obviously isn't a question. As Mariska said, and gap year. I was supposed to take one gap year, and I was supposed to do this once ever, and then I was supposed to go to college or university and get some form of degree. But I am hooked like a fish on a fishing rod. It is by a very large margin the best job and best experience I've ever had in my entire life. Um, so I really highly encourage you to just push yourself and just go and do it. If you're umming and ahhing, if you're nervous about doing it, if you don't think it's going to be worth it, I'm here to tell you and guarantee you that it's going to be worth every cent and every sweat and tear that you put into the job. It is the most rewarding experience you will ever do, probably ever. I have now sent so many people over to work at summer camps because I won't stop talking about my job over there. And they get interested and then they apply and they go to other camps. And my friend went to New York recently. Um, it's a really, really, really fun job. Um, as Mariska was saying, it's not a job that is entirely focused on money. However, um, if you spend wisely and if you save like wisely, you can definitely come back depending on your camp, but like both camps I've been to, I've come back with more money than what I spent to go there. I know in both instances at both camps, I got paid more in my second year than I did my first year because some camps have like this. I don't know what the official name is, but basically you because it's your first time applying as an international, they pay you less, and then the second year you go, you get paid more than what it was. I don't know quite what know what they do that. I think that's got to do with some programming fee or whatever it is. But both camps I've worked at, I got paid more in my second year than my first year. Um, so that also is maybe something to look forward to. I always say that your second year as a camp counselor is always the best year, not because you get paid a bit more, but it's because you are used to the environment that you're in now and you get to focus on yourself a lot more. Um, and you can really put your whole heart and soul into the job. And then the other thing I wanted to touch on is I know Mariska was talking about on the other side, um, about the what's the word? The recommendation to bring about 500 US dollars over to work to the camp.
Australia.
My best advice with that, yes, while you're working at the camp, my best advice with that is that $500 sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. Um, if you get placed with a camp, for example, my two camps that I've been to, they pay every 2 weeks. They even start paying during staff training. So I would potentially talk to your camp directors about how when you get paid, because some camps pay a lump sum at the very end of the summer camp. Some of them pay every week, some of them pay a month. So all the camps kind of just vary on how they pay you. Um, and if they do pay every week or every 2 weeks, you might not necessarily need to bring over $500 because you might not need exactly that kind of money if you get paid that frequently. Obviously, if you get paid more like every month or at the very end of the summer, it's definitely necessary to bring that kind of money so that you have enough money to spend while you're at the camp so that you don't run out of toiletries and that you have entertainment to do. But if you're stressing that you don't have enough money for 500 US dollars times 17, which is a lot of money, you shouldn't stress too much about it, because if your camp has that option to pay you every 2 weeks or so, you're not going to exactly need $500. I usually go around with about $150, $200. And I'm really wise with my spending until I start getting paid the salary from the camp. And I find easily between $200 and $250 can see me through until payday very easily. That's just my another advice that I had.
Cool. And then, yeah, do keep in mind if you're going to use that travel period at the end of camp to go and travel, you do going to need a bit of extra money, for accommodation and stuff. So keep also in mind, if you are going to be traveling or not, to have sufficient funds then for your travel period. Okay. Cool. Guys, did we do such a great job that nobody has any other questions for us? Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. If you guys have any further questions and think of anything, please reach out to your OVC consultant. And yeah, we hope to get all of your applications in. And yeah, have a great evening. Christopher, thank you so much. It's always, yeah, great to hear about your experience. And yeah, have a great day. Have a great day. Have a great evening, guys. Bye.
Bye, you too. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have fun. Go do it. Sign up.